from Ireland, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Their dad.
Grandma, they always said she was, well, they call her a flat Dutch. So I don't know what breed that is.
You mean that was your grandmother, or?
Yeah, that's far back as he knows his grandmother, his grandfather.
Back then, I don't know anything down there.
Well, now the main thing is to know where were you born, and where's your granddad, and where was everybody when you was a kid? That's children. That's the main thing. Is where were you then?
Well, we were in Arkansas then. You mean that?
Yes, your family. You and your
My brother and sister.
and your mother and father.
And Mom and Pa, where'd they get married and so forth? Where'd they come from?
That's what we want to know.
Well, I don't know if you know that from me or not. I don't know. They was married there right around where they was raised, I reckon, there in Arkansas. I don't know. Now, my Moss folks, they come from Texas.
This is the Tuckers.
Yeah,
The Tuckers.
they Tuckers. And Grandma Tucker, she was a Ledbetter. She was married. Grandpa. They was from down there in Texas somewhere.
Well, was Paul McCawley and Ma both born in Arkansas?
No. Ma was, but then my dad wasn't. He was born in Indiana.
Oh, how old was he when he came to
Indiana.
Arkansas?
Huh?
How old was he when he came to Arkansas?
Well, I don't know exactly whether I could think that up or not. Just how old he was when he come there, but he must have been a pretty good sized boy. Cause I know he was a farming at that time. That is, helping, like I always did there.
But they grew up together there in the same neck of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, they must have grown up there pretty close together.
Where was that?
Both families, because they had their old places, but they'd had for years. When I first come into the family, well, they had the old places. Them was old places then. And they'd had them old places for I don't know how long.
You reckon they got them old places by allotment or something
I don't
like
know how they got them. I don't know nothing about that. But I know all the old people that was around there. You take the Pittses and the Webbs and the McCaulleys and the Tuckers and the Calicos. Now, the Calicos, they're on Ma's side too, but they're different. The Calicos are. But they're all cousins.
Where was this, though?
That's in Arkansas.
What part, though?
Well, it's in, you call it Washington County. It's in around close to Fayetteville. That's one thing I'm going to do when I get back there. I'm going to have out there, or Junior, or some of them take me over in there. I want to see that old country around in there yet. I just wonder sometimes about that old mill I was telling Mother about this morning, a little bit of it about Dad, when I, far back as I can remember, he worked for them Pittses a lot. The old man Pitts on the farm. He done always farming for him. And the only thing that he ever paid him in was corn and wheat and meat. Dad carried all that in. Walked, I think it was a mile and a half or 2 miles. He walked every day there and back. That's the way he made his living.
Well, the Pitts, were they some of Ma's folks?
This is no, there's different outfits.
No relation. Have you ever gone back since you left or not when you was a kid? When they took you out when you
Well, I was back then when I was about 16 years old. I come out of there when I was 12 and then went back about 16, and that's the last time I was ever back. But it was right down then when I was back in Oklahoma. This time I was down in some of the same country, but I went through Fort Smith and down that way, which is south of there. And about 50 or 60 miles of Fayetteville. And we went right trying it just looked so natural to me that it just pretty near knowed it was that country. Down in there, them old men, along there, just at daylight, between daylight and sunup, so we just noticed. And them old men be sitting out there with an old pipe in their mouth, you know, rocking chair out on the porch. And it's just exactly like that, the old time.
Well, what they do for a living, Dan?
I don't know what they done, Trout. You mean that?
No, when you was a kid, or you
Well, they just had a little old farm, and they growed their meat of all kinds, their calves and their hogs and their sheep. They'd kill sheep and eat them. They just had plenty of everything to eat.
Did you have milk cows?
Yeah, they had their cows.
Did they do much buying then, or was it mostly swapping whenever you needed something, or you swap like a cow or
Swap around to one another.
That's what it said. It said he can't
Well,
remember
they all
ever seeing
added
any
up.
money till he was
They
12 years
calf,
old. They come out
They
there
just passed it around, they didn't.
and the women made the clothes.
Yeah, it wasn't worth anything, you know, and the women all made their soap them days, you see.
You don't remember any money at all in Arkansas, Dad? When you
Don't remember not one nickel.
you left when you were 12?
12 years old.
That's when you went with, what was that, Mom's folks that you came to Oklahoma with them, huh?
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's all her folks. There's 6 wagons up there. Come in the Indian Territory. That's a wagon train.
Who all was on there?
Huh?
Who all was with you?
Well, Grandpa, I guess, had 2 wagons. I think Richard had one, and
Now
Grandpa...
there, you're talking about your Grandpa Tucker there.
Yeah, that's Grandpa Tucker. And Richard Tucker, he is a boy, and he is 18. He drove one wagon, and Grandpa drove the other, and then my dad had a wagon. And my dad just had one horse that he got shed of a horse or two before he left. He just had one, and then Uncle Alfred. Uncle Alfred and Uncle Albert, they was brothers, and they married sisters. They're 2 of my sisters. Well, let's see, that was 2, 3, 4, 5. And Uncle Marion, he had a wagon. And Uncle Alfred had 3 horses, and Dad worked one of them horses with his. And then when we come through Muskogee, we stayed all night in Muskogee and went out towards Ball Hill there. Well, we was come on to a little old creek. It was getting night. And I can remember that well. And it was coming night on us, and it was out of water. There wasn't no houses along the road, you see. No place to get water. So they come to a little old creek. Town Creek is what it was. And they come to that little old creek. Well, they went down through just the men got water buckets and just started. Well, they went down there and them water holes had all dried up, and they kept going down the creek. It was dark when they quit hunting for water, but they finally found some that could seep out of the banks, you know, and the cattle had waded around there, and it was in the fall of the year, and they got scratching around there, you know, and in them cow tracks while there was water. And that's what they dipped up and brung back, and I guess none of them know not to boil it. They just drank that, so about, well, the next morning my mother was sick. And so when we stopped at a little old post office. And when we stopped there, why, this man's name was Walker. Owen Walker. And he had a little old store there, and so my mother was so sick she couldn't go nowhere, couldn't get up. And we'd all been there was sick in the end. So she took typhoid fever, and he had a little old blacksmith shop there. Didn't have no floor in it, just dirt floor. And this man, he says, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. He says, I'll go down there and just throw everything I've got out in the yard there and let you move in that little old house if you'll stay here, and some of you can pick cotton here. Well, they all wanted to go to Texas. They're all headed for Texas, you see. And they all wanted to go down there, and so we stayed in that little old house, that little old shop. And Edgar, he took the typhoid fever. And him and Mom both laid there for about 6 or 8 weeks before they ever began to get up.
Yeah, but tell about what happened to the team and the horse.
Well, they took the other horse and went on there. We was the one horse. And they went on, and so when they got to Texas, why, there was Ma and, let's see now, Aunt Fan and Uncle Alfred. Now, that's 2 different families. Yeah, Aunt Fan, she was, Aunt Pal, she was Uncle Marion's wife. She died.
I don't know about that.
She died, and Aunt Fan died, and Uncle Alfred died. So that's 3 families. That
2 women and 1 man.
And they all went from drinking this water, they said. And Ma and Edgar both lived over it. And that was them 3. Then after a while, Grandma Tucker and Hattie and Jimmy, they come back to where we was at.
When, next year?
Well, along in, that was in the fall of the year, and then along the next fall, I think it was, when they came back. Well, when they come back, in that time, Mother got so she could move, and we moved about 1.5 miles from there, and went in, Dad got a job with some more people farming.
Well, did you tell just where exactly this was now, this place, where you think it was?
You mean that there?
Where this shack was,
That's the Ball Hill store.
That was the Ball Hill
That's
store.
The Ball Hill store. That's post office. Ball Hill IT,
yeah.
That's where we got our mail.
Indian Territory.
Indian Territory.
Well, Dad, were there sure enough a lot of Indians around or not?
Well, yeah, there's Indians, but you know, these TVs, you know, they'll tell you how bad the Indians were, or they're the best friend you had.
Well, they wasn't bad then.
Of course. Well,
Well, what I want to know is where were they living? What were they actually,
Indians?
yeah, that you saw?
Well, they just lived in a
Shack?
dugout,
Dugout?
just like we lived in.
Well, when did you move in this dugout? This next
Well,
summer?
when we come there in 98, that's 99 now, when we was in the dugout.
Paul, then, where was the dugout?
Huh?
Following spring. You moved into the dugout the following spring.
Yeah, we moved in there the following spring, and then we moved out of there. Then that fall made a crop there, and then Dad rented a farm down about 2 miles south of this Ball Hill store. Now we was 2 miles west, and then we come back up to the store and went down to this place and about then rented a place down there, and we farmed down there. Didn't even have a fence around their farm at all, and there's all pasture. You don't hardly believe a fellow could raise a crop like that, do you?
No.
Right out in the cattle. And we had a dog that'd work on them cattle day and night if they was around there.
Well, you didn't tell about your cotton picking.
Yeah. I was the only one to keep the family up, you see. Dad had to stay with Mom right with her all the
Well,
time.
then this fall you're talking about.
Yeah, that's when I first went there at that store. That's when I went there at that store and I had to, I picked cotton and they'd buy this old, I'll never forget that, this guy had that, old, tasteless chilled honey, gross chilled honey. That old blue looking stuff, you know, in a big old bottle, and looked like these magnesia bottles, you know. And, so I'd sneak in there at noon, I'd come in, you know, and pick cotton till noon, they'd come in, and I'd just take me a big old swig of that there. And I never did get sick. And they all had chills but me. And they wondered how I was getting by so good. And I never did tell them I was taking that dog.
Dad, why were you all heading for Texas? Is that the
Well,
new
I was
frontier?
to get out of Arkansas because they all figured that, you know, Grandma Tucker, she had folks in Texas, you know, down around Wolf City, Texas. That's in around Denison there somewhere. I don't know where it's at exactly. But anyhow, you went through Denison, Texas. That's across the river from, well, you go down through McCallister in that way. And that Wolf City, wherever it was at, well, her people was all settled in there, and they growed lots of cotton. So she'd go down there and pick cotton. I know of her going there and pick cotton as far back as I could remember. And take kids with her, you know.
That's where they lived before she came to Arkansas and met.
Yeah, that's before we come. No, that's before we come to. Now I know it'd take them about 3 days to come to Muskogee and put her on the train now. They'd come there in a wagon, take her in a wagon, take her in about
Arkansas.
Yeah, from Arkansas, where we lived. Take about 3 days to come to Muskogee and put her on a train. Then she could go on down there, you see, and then come back there, and they'd come and get her and take her back. And that's what they lived on now, is what she made that away, you see, her and the kids.
Was all the family just growing and they've expanded down in Arkansas and they just out of land and room and everything?
Yeah,
That's the way all the generations was doing.
They all come in there. The old timers all come in there that way. And I wouldn't know where they're from. I wouldn't know where the Fitzes is from. I wouldn't know where the Calicos are from or the Webbs or any of them. I knew their families.
Actually, you did listen to the story of each one of those generations. They had like Grandpa.
That's where it started out.
He
Exactly.
left Indiana, you said, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because of this, probably. They just overcrowding there with the young ones. And
the
young ones would break away and move on.
Wouldn't drove them out, yeah.
Well, I imagine they figured they'd make
I
better living
think that's
go
the way
west,
they finally
you know.
started coming to California and everywhere else.
Did you say that, as far as you know, Paul never did go back to Indiana and never saw any of them again?
No, he never seen them anymore. My grandpa had his family all with him, you see. He had his family. Of course,
in other words,
there was probably Uncle Doc and Dad. That's pretty good sized boys, and then George and Ted and Tom and so they raised that family right on that place, you see. And I can remember when they was all grown kids there at home.
But what I mean is, Paul never saw his grandfather then.
Oh no, I don't know as far as I
As
know.
far as you knew, he never saw
He
his
never
grandfather.
knowed any of them.
As far as you know, the gang in Indiana, they might have been from Ireland,
I don't know
or
where
there
they
might have
got-
been more generations.
Yeah.
That's as far back as you can go.
But they never did. Give us any history at all on.
Didn't talk about them.
No,
Just didn't
just
talk
never
about
talked about him. Nobody but Uncle John, but he'd come once in a while. I've seen him say 2 or 3 times, and I've seen my grandmother on my mother's side, and I've seen her brother. His name was Dick Ledbetter, and so I've seen him several times. And I know Ma's grandmother, that's the first cancer that I ever remember of at all. I remember that woman just as well now, and I'll bet you I wasn't just a little kid. And this whole side of her face here was just dead off, and you could see her teeth, just looked like more like a skeleton than anything else. And she died with that.
That's a face cancer,
Yeah.
Eating up.
Just had her off all in here, and finally she died. But she was a long time of dying. Because I can remember seeing her several times. And that's the only thing that you'd ever get anybody ever find out anything about them old timers back there. They just had their family. Now the Pittses, they had 2 or 3 boys, and the Webbs had 2 or 3. The Calicos, there's a whole bunch of them. Now they was on my mother's side, and they was all awful bad drunkards. They would have one of them boys. They just kept it all the time. And the Webbs, they had a still house. They made it all the time.
Well, how about the Tuckers? Didn't they make it all the time, too?
No. And my granddad Tucker, I don't reckon I ever seen him take a drink of
Is
whiskey.
that right?
No. And Grandpa McCawley would drink some, but he never drank bad. He might have a jug around there and take a drink a day, you see, or something like that. But you couldn't call him a drunkard.
What did they do for water? Did they have springs or did they actually have wells?
Well, now, Grandpa McCawley, we'd have to, time and again, I hear old John on the radio every once in a while. It makes me think of that. He'd say, son, boy, go to bed, he'd say, son, did you wash your feet tonight? And he'd have to get up and the water bucket's dry. Well, that makes me think about having to get up there at the grandpa's. After supper, we'd sit around there and talk, and then not to wash your feet, but we'd just all go to the spring. Well, that was a half a mile down the hill. I mean, it was down the hill, too. Boy, that path just come like this up that hill. You'd have to go alongside of it and turn and go back over this way and get a little higher. And that's the way they raised that family. He dug, I don't know how many wells around there. He dug wells there 40 feet deep and them in drop water. They get down there to the dam.
Was this a community spring then, you figured? Must have been.
Well, I don't know, it just happened,
That's
they
their
looked that out before they built.
I see.
Mr. Pitts had a spring, and the Webbs had a spring, and they had I remember their spring, they had a big, they built a big milk house, you know, what they call a milk house, and they didn't have a bit of ice. And they'd, that spring house would run down through the spring would run through that spring house, and they'd make a nice beat up rock in there, and just set the buckets in there, and that spring in there, no matter how much it rained, it never got no bigger. Just stayed the same height all year. And that's the way that's what they got. They're just cold as ice nearly. And then that milk would just be as cold in there. You know, now I think about it lots of times, and I never knowed anything about flies then. But now flies eat milk up just that in the milk house.
Of course, there's no screens on the doors or windows, anything.
Oh, well, it's open.
Now, these was log cabins.
Just a little old cabin, yeah.
Were they,
You don't
rooms
believe
in those
it.
log cabins?
You
Or not?
you kids don't know what did go through at that time, do you?
No.
Well, this old lady White over here, me and her get together, we'll talk about Arkansas. We understand one another's language. Mother don't understand it, but we can tell it. These punching floors, you know what a punching floor is?
No.
Well, you take and split a log down the middle. Well, it'll have two flat sides. You first take and put your foundation down for your house. And you make them sleepers now. They're put about every 4 or 5 feet apart. And they'll notch them out in there, and they'll lay down on that sleeper. And this flat side's up. And you just kind of hew them down a little bit and push them up close together as you can, and they live on them splintered floor that way the year round.
What about beds? What kind of beds?
Oh, my sakes alive, don't ask about that.
It wasn't, there was no such a thing as a spring bed, was there?
No.
They never-
We didn't know
no
what spring
steel.
was. There wouldn't have been no spring.
No. Or did they use corn shucks and sacks or something?
Well,
Or
or leaves or something, anything,
Yeah.
and make good filling. But
And-
they generally had a feather bed to put on top of it, see. They all
That's
had
what
a
They
they
threw them
call
on the floor then.
They raised their own geese, too, That's where they got their feathers.
They had what they call, what was them things that filled full of hay, you know? Straw bed.
Straw ticks, yeah.
Straw tick. They'd make them, and just like a
Well, were they
pillow.
on the floor, or did you actually have racks on the wall or
No, the
something?
most of the time it's on the floor. Most of the time it's on the floor.
Use that for you go on the floor and then you put your feather bed on top of that.
That's one reason I told Mother she needed one of them. I told her here, you know, I said, you need a punching floor so you can just, the cracks will just all fall through. You won't have to sweep the floor.
Sweep it right through the
They started to
cracks.
make their own brooms too, I suppose they did. Everything was made
Well,
yourself.
yeah, and you know what kind of fire we had? Didn't have no matches. I don't know where they got the fire ever started at, unless they went to the neighbors and got it. But I've seen Dad just take and drag old dead trees in there, you know, big old logs, and set one afire. Well, you know, if it's raining, it'll burn back under here and just burn on the underside of that log, and it'll never rain out. And they'd cook right out in the yard.
They cooked in the yard?
Like this
Didn't they have a fireplace in there?
Well, yeah, they'd use that in the wintertime. That's mighty you couldn't use it in summertime.
So they actually, once spring came, or whenever the weather, they could, anyhow, let them. They went outside and cooked.
Well, they cooked all the time outside, you might
Oh.
say. I mean, not in wintertime, but...
Nearly all the cooking was done outside.
And I remember when Dad would go to town to get our shoes. One pair of shoes a year. And you never did see them, but there'd be a cap across here, a cap on the toe, and that'd be brass. We thought we had something, we got that. And that one pair is all we got, too.
Well, how far, well, you say it's outside of Fayetteville, huh?
Well, that was, Dad would go sometimes to Rogers, Arkansas, or he'd go to Huntsville. Either one of them was, probably, he could go there and back in the day is all I know how far they was, you see. Horseback, he'd go horseback.
What did they have? Pots, old cast iron pots and pans, was it, for cooking?
Oh, yeah.
Did you actually have a hearth outside or something built up with
Oh,
these
no,
lady
just
stones?
rocks.
Just rocks heaped up, and they drag up the logs and keep the fire going.
Set on fire, and then they cut their wood and burn it off of this fire, but that's the way they kept their fire, you see. They didn't cook off that log, because they didn't want it to burn up that fast, you see. It burned all summer long, man. Now they got that down pretty low, they'd throw another
Drag another one.
When do you first remember matches then?
Huh?
When do you first remember matches?
Well, I remember then when I was, after we got in the territory, they got to having them around there, and peddlers coming through, you know. We used to never have to go to town or live at peddlers come through the Indian Territory there, you know, for years. Just old peddlers, Jews we call them. They go.
What were they actually?
Huh?
Or were they a lot of them foreigners, were they?
Well, they call them Dagos, all I know. They couldn't hardly talk to you. But they was all Jews nearly, because you could start in one and try to sell you something, he'd always have it way up high, and you could just tell him what you'd give
I
him.
remember seeing them old fellas come through and they'd have packs that big,
Well,
you know,
you'd be
just
surprised
packed
how much
full
a
of
man can
stuff
carry.
on their
I've
backs,
seen them
walking.
carry
You walking, you mean?
Yeah,
Some of
most
them
of them
walk
walk.
through the country.
Some
Some of them, then
buggies.
they got to get in a little buggy and team, and they put their team on your pasture at night, you see, and didn't cost them anything to keep them. We had one old Jew that followed us, our old Dago, and followed us around for I don't know how many years. He'd know where we moved to, you know, he'd always come.
They trade with the
They're all
women
right
to get
with
their
us.
chickens.
Trade chickens for their wares?
Yeah, they get.
I can remember only the first candy and sugar. Well, that I ever remember. I'd buy a long time we bought sugar and brown sugar, you know, and it'd get in lumps. And you'd take eggs to the store and trade them for groceries. Well, Mom would always tell us we could have 1 or 2 eggs, and we'd always trade that for a lump of sugar, you know. Oh, yeah, we really had us some candy.
Granddad, do you think these peddlers were gypsies?
Hmm?
Would you call these Jews or daggers gypsies?
What did he say?
Did you think they were gypsies? These original
Oh,
peddlers?
no.
They weren't the gypsies yet.
No, we know.
They came later, didn't they?
Yeah, we know what the gypsy was.
Well, these wasn't the medicine men either, was it? That used
No.
to come through with their covered wagon.
Well, they had everything there was to medicine of all kinds.
These men with the pack on the back.
Yeah, they got
They
buggies.
got honey.
After they got
Oh,
buggies.
after they got their buggies, they had their patent
Most
medicine.
of them
and
packs they
I'll tell you
carried
what,
were
wait till I
just
get ready to go to
dry.
bed. My throat ain't really hurting.
trinkets and things like that. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, just little stuff.
And they'd swap, huh? You say.
Oh, yeah.
One day they take this stuff along to the next store, and one thing another, next little.
Well, they'd always make a store, you know, where they could, trade that stuff for something else. They're all traders.
How do you make those apps from your tools?
Well, I don't know. They got them some way. Traded something for them, I guess. And I was just telling Mother this morning about she don't understand about how water would grind or turn a big old rock. It'd have a big old like an old tractor wheel or something. Big old rock. And it made it run around this way, and there was another rock cut in this way, and then a screen under there, and this old rock, this water, whenever they turn this water around over that wheel, that big old wheel, why, that's where we'd take our corn and wheat and have it ground. And that old rock running around now would just beat that corn in as fine as it could be, you see.
Now this is still in Arkansas.
Yeah, that's
when you're
in
a kid.
Arkansas when it was there. But there was a river on one side of the mountain. This river went into the mountain. And when it went in, well, then it come out on the other side, about 3 or 4 miles from there. Where it come out, well, that's where they put that old mill pond there, they call it. And that's where that wheel was put in that there thing, and old dippers and things on it, you know. And there's one that turned down here, while another was there, and it'd get full right on down. They just kept
What
going.
did you do? Just give them a certain amount of your grain
Yeah.
to get it ground, didn't you?
And they'd trade that for They'd trade that for something else then. It's all trading, every bit of it. You don't see how people can live that way, do you? I don't even see it, and I know how to done it.
How about the, you said law, and the spinning wheel, making all the, clothes?
Yeah, they insure the sheep and they make all their wool.
They make all your clothes. Huh?
Yeah. And, after they got to getting cotton, now, my grandmother would bring a little cotton from Texas seed, you see, and keep her start that way. She'd grow a little bit of cotton. See, we knew what cotton was before we come to that country. Because she'd always grow a little of that, and they'd take this here old, they'd sit and pick seed out of that cotton. When they got the seed all picked out, well, then they'd take and put corn shucks on this here spindle, you know, on that old wheel. Oh, we'd turn them wheels from here on, us kids. That little old outfit, you know, would just spin like everything, and that cotton would just turn like this into a little thread.
It would.
Yeah, it turns fast. You just hold it back away from it here, and just keep stacking on it and pulling back, and that thing would just, boy, just get as good a thread as you ever seen.
Keep feeding the cotton to it.
Yeah,
and it'd make its own thread then.
Yeah, that's where they made thread. They'd make thread enough that way, Fred. That's where our clothes were made too. They'd make thread enough that they had a loom. They call them loom, you know. You know what to make. You've seen them, I guess. Did you ever see one?
Oh, I don't know what.
Well, you thread them when you take this thread and wrap it on there from one place to the other. One way, you see, crossways. And then these others goes down like this. And every so often you push up like that, and there's pins on it, and they push up like that, and they push them up tight together. Well, that's where our clothes is made. That's cloth when they're pushed up that way.
Weaving the cloth.
Stretch them all tight, and these strings, they keep working them around.